Should I start again?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to start from the beginning just because we had a little bit of sound problems. So, hi, my name is Michelle Grady. I'll be teaching you for the upcoming program here at New Image. I'm going to start off with talking about some of the products we're going to be using. Actually, first I'm going to start off talking a little bit about myself. So, I've been in the TV and film industry for about 15 years doing special effects makeup mostly. So I've done a lot of shop work, I've owned my own shop, as well as I've gone to set and done applications as well. Most of my career has been teaching based, so I have spent countless hours and dedication trying to do the best I can for you guys and give you the best education. So let's just talk about some of the products I'm going to be using today for our stage makeups. We'll be using Super Color Kryolan Cream Makeups, the Kryolan Multicolor Circle, the Illustrator Zombie Palette. This is the alcohol activated palette. And I'll also be using a variety of beauty makeups and tools today. So some eyeshadows, the contour palette, eyeliners, and I'll go into that a little bit more as I'm doing the demonstrations. We have a lot of theory that we have to go over today. So I'm going to start the beginning of the day, basically just going over a little bit of the theory, and then at the end of this section where I'm doing a lot of reading, you can ask me questions, and that will be our question and answer section. Okay, so first of all, let's just talk about what we're going to be doing this week. Today, I'm going to be doing 3 demonstrations. I've done up some face charts here. I'm just going to show you. So the first one will be a basic makeup for stage. So we're just going to focus a lot on contouring, highlighting, and really bringing out the facial features. So that will be one of my makeups I'll be doing. And then the other 2 makeups I'm going to be doing, one will be a character makeup. So I'm going to do kind of a villain type character here. And it's going to be a masculinization makeup. And then I'm going to do just a basic masculinization makeup as well. So this one here, just a basic straight up masculinization makeup, is the one you're going to be doing for your exam. You don't have to follow my exact style. So you can change up the beard pattern a little bit, change up your colors a little bit, but following the highlighting and contouring and basic techniques that I'll be using in that demo. The other 2, so the basic makeup and the character makeup, you guys can just have fun with that and come up with your own characters and your own looks. You do not have to copy the looks that I'm doing, but you're welcome to if you would like. Okay, I'm going to go over our TV and film theory. So I'm just going to read this out to you guys, and again, if you have any questions at the end, feel free to ask them. I also might elaborate on some of the job titles and responsibilities as well. Okay, so just starting at the top of the page here on camera shots. So establishing shot or vista shot. A shot normally taken from a great distance or from a bird's eye view that establishes where the action is about to occur. Long shot. A shot that shows a scene from a distance, but not as great a distance as the establishing shot. A long shot is used to stress the environment or setting of a scene. Medium shot. A shot that frames the actors, normally from the waist up. The medium shot can be used to focus attention on an interaction between 2 actors, such as a struggle, debate, or embrace. Over the shoulder shot. A a shot of one actor taken over the shoulder of another actor. An over-the-shoulder shot is used when two characters are interacting face-to-face. Filming over an actor's shoulder focuses the audience's attention on one actor at a time in a conversation rather than on both. Close-up. A shot taken at close range, sometimes only inches away from an actor's face, a prop, or some other object. The close-up is designed to focus attention on an actor's expression, to give significance to a certain object, or to direct the audience to some other essential element of the film. It's important for you to know what type of shot they're filming. So if they're doing an establishing shot or a long shot, generally speaking, you do not do touch-ups on the makeup. Okay, so if you go in there when they're doing an establishing or long shot to do your touch-ups, you're going to look kind of green. So you want to look a little bit more professional and know exactly what the camera operator is shooting at the time. As we start getting into maybe over-the-shoulder shots or close-ups, you're going to want to pay attention to doing your touch-ups. So this will be your finals. And of course, you're not going to go in every single time they're doing a new take. You should be able to get your finals done and have them set for a while. And this will happen if you use nice long wearing makeup. Okay, so moving on to crew titles and responsibilities. First Assistant Director or First AD. Maintains order on the set and communicates with the director on what is to be shot. Also helps to keep the day's shooting schedule. Second Assistant Director or Second AD. Assists the First AD in getting the schedule for the next day's shooting, is generally the main contact for all actors. I'm just going to stop there for a sec. A second AD is definitely somebody that you will have quite a bit of contact with when you're working in the makeup trailer, and especially as a key when figuring out the next day's shoot and schedule. So your timing, how long your makeups are going to take. But even if you're just an assistant, I shouldn't say just, even if you're an assistant makeup artist or special effects artist on set, you will be asked your ETA, which is your estimated time of arrival, from the second AD. So they'll often come into the trailer and want to know how long your actor is going to be till they're ready to travel. Third Assistant Director. Assists the First AD on set and is generally the main contact for background performers. TAD, Trainee Assistant Director, usually on set to help the AD department and help inform the crew on what is coming up to shoot and what requirements are needed for the upcoming shot, and help place the cue and background performers. So if you're on set and you kind of lose track on where they are for filming wise, you can always go up to the TAD and bring your call sheet up and just say, hey, where are we at in this scene? Let's say you had to step away and you're busy. Okay. Acting coach. Helps an actor prepare for each scene. Associate producer. Assists in the overall coordination of the project. Helps find financing or deals. Background coordinator. Signs in background and assists ADs with managing background on set. Also to make sure the background gets to and from set. Generally to be there for the background under the guidance of the extras casting. Best boy. A gaffer's assistant does most of the physical lifting and placing of lights on set. Boom operator. Holds the boom microphone that records the actor's lines and placement of microphones on actors and set out of sight. Camera operator. Operates the camera and films the shots of the day. Camera operator first assistant, the focus puller. Operates focus for the camera operator, works alongside the camera operator. Camera operator second assistant, loader. Loads and unloads film, also assists the first assistant. Casting director. Hired to find an actor to audition for each role. The final decision on who is cast is made by the director or producer. Casting assistant coordinates the actors in the waiting room before they go to set to see the casting director. They will sign in, inform you of any specifics you may need to know, take still pictures of you. Sometimes headshots don't always look like you do when you audition, etc. So you can see some of this pertains to actors, but it's really good to know this information as well. Catering provides the meals for production. Continuity person, responsible for making sure the whole film fits without props or costumes mysteriously disappearing from one scene to the next. This is also the job of the script supervisor. Costume designer, wardrobe, decides what each character will wear and designs and sources out the clothing and accessories. Usually collaborates with the producer and or director before any final decisions are made. This person has a staff of people to work with: cutters, sewers, set supervisors. It's always very important to get to know the wardrobe department on set, know where the trailer is located, and be in open communication with the department so that you can coordinate the wardrobe with the makeup looks. Not only to make sure that your makeup coordinates, but also in case you have to do any body makeup. So if your actor has tattoos that need to be covered and they're going to be wearing short sleeves, this is something that you need to talk about prior to scheduling the makeup. Craft service provides the snacks on set and generally is the first aid person. Definitely you might want to go when it's not busy, when it's downtime for you, and hang out and just eat all the free snacks, but you have to be careful to not do that because you don't want it to look like you have nothing to do and there's no reason for you to be there. So go quickly get your coffee and your snacks and don't be hanging out there for too long. Dialect coach helps an actor lose or find an accent depending on what is required for the character. Director guides the action and actors for a film or TV shows. It is involved in most every decision and maintains the creative vision of the project from pre-production to post-production, although the creative vision is often controlled by the producers in the world of television. And the reason this is because in TV, usually, and not always, but often there's a different director per episode. So an episode might run anywhere maybe 5 to 8 days, film days, and they'll have a director for those days and then possibly a new director for the next episode. And to create a cohesive script and to make sure everything's looking cohesive throughout the season, that's why the producer would be more in control of that stuff. Director of photography, known as DP or DOP, designs the look of each shot, frames up the shot, coordinates the lighting, the movement, etc. Driver captain, in charge of drivers on set. Drivers transport talent, equipment, and any vehicles on set while shooting. So often you will need to be transported from a circus where your trailer or tent may be, where you're going to be doing the makeups, to set. And you'll want to be traveling when your actors travel, or somebody needs to be traveling with the actors. So you'll be getting into the vans and they'll take you to the location, and it's important to know which location you're going to because there may be multiple ones going on at the same time. Executive producer. This title is given to the person who holds creative control or finances the project. Gaffer. The person in charge of all electrical and lighting requirements on set. This name comes from the early days of theater in Britain and all the lighting was provided by candles. The lighting person would use a long stick called a gaff to light all of the candles, and was therefore called a gaffer. His son, whom he would teach the trade, was called best boy. Grips. Lifts and places non-electrical flags, scrims, etc. in and around lights. Plus maneuvers the dolly. This person is called the dolly grip and works closely with the camera department. Hair. Designs the hair and maintains the look of the hair for the production of the show. So this is another department that you're going to be kind of collaborating with or working very closely with. It's always good, again, to be in communication and in good communication with the hair department and the wardrobe department. Also, when finals are being called, those three departments will go in, if needed, at the same time. So you'll be working with the hair and wardrobe department potentially at the same time doing your finals. So be aware of that. Key grip. In charge of flags, stands for lights, and anything non-electrical. Key makeup. Designs and applies makeup and maintains the actor's look for the production, plus keeping continuity of makeup for the entire production shoot. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on that. So key makeup artists will start off in pre-production having meetings, so going to production meetings, designing the looks, figuring out the schedules, and also they'll be keeping an eye on their people that are working under them, so their assistants, first assistants, second assistants, making sure that the continuity is correct for that, and making sure that the days and the makeups are moving at a timely pace. They'll also be in charge of buying product and letting the production know when they need some extra supplies that might not be coming out of the kits, as well as packing down the trailer if there's any moves, that sort of stuff. They'll also be working on the main, I think it already says this, no, working on the main, so the lead actors on set. So actors will have numbers, and you'll note that on the call sheet, and the key makeup artist generally works on the top actor or actors on set. Locations manager. Finds suitable location for the duration of the shoot, ensures there is adequate parking for crew, restrooms, etc., plus adequate parking for the circus, liaisons with the owner or manager of the property being used for the production. Production assistant or PA. Similar idea to a gopher. These are the people who coordinate the parking lots on set, run around for department heads, and look after any task that does not have a crew position assigned to it, under the guidance of the location manager. Producer brings together all elements of a project, money, schedules, crew, etc. Production manager coordinates / manages the elements of a project, money, schedules, crew, etc. Advises the producer on the most economical way to spend the money so that the production doesn't cost more than the budget allows. For me personally, I have mainly been I've mainly been contacted by production managers to put in bids for film. So they'll contact me and say, hey, we have an upcoming feature film, would you like to bid for it? I will basically break down the script, pull out any special effects, makeup that I might need, break down the cost for that, and give them my bid, basically. And then if it goes forth, we'll have meetings, and then you find out if you get the work. So it's really important to have those contacts with production managers. They're not the only ones that will get you the job, but they will oftentimes like get your foot in the door. Property manager or props manager coordinates the purchase and rentals of props used in the production. This person also oversees the props department that includes props buyer, the set props person. Photo double. A photo double is used on camera in place of the actor, therefore the face of the photo double would be hidden. This could be in a car speeding by or a distant shot where the actor's face would be hidden. The photo double would be of similar height and weight of the person they are doubling. Sometimes with the photo double, you might need to do a little bit of makeup, but often it's just hair and wardrobe that will disguise that person. Production designer create and coordinates the visual aspect of a film or TV program, what the set looks like, where the scene is set, what an actor is holding or sitting on, etc. Reader. A casting director will often hire a reader to read opposite you in an audition. This way, they can focus on your acting and not worry about the other character's lines. Script supervisor and continuity. Follows along every take, taking notes on which takes the director liked or didn't like. Continuity of performances both in dialogue and action for the editor. Security. Watches over the equipment if the crew isn't present and to watch trucks, etc. Set decorator. Places objects such as furniture on a set to make it look realistic. This would be static pieces on set. Sound mixer. Monitors the level of audio signals as the actor's lines are being recorded. Let's talk, actually, I want to stop a little bit and just talk about sound on set. So it's really, really important for you when you're on set, when they're filming, to be extremely quiet because the mic is very sensitive and it will pick up you walking around or your phone buzzing, or even sometimes if you're wearing really loud, like a really loud jacket that's rubbing together. So it's very, very sensitive. You want to be careful to be quiet and still and try to like stifle any coughing or laughing that you might have to do. So you always want to pay attention to when they're rolling. Stand-in. Usually the same height and weight, etc. of an actor. It is classified as background work. Each shot is generally lit and choreographed with a stand-in filling in for the actors who may be in hair, makeup, or getting prepared for set, thus allowing the crew to be ready when the actors arrive. This cuts down on the time an actor would be under hot lights or bad weather conditions, etc. Stills photographer takes photographs of the production, behind the scenes, and the actors working. This is generally used for publicity of the production. I'll stop there for a sec. So when you are on set, most of the time you are not allowed to take pictures. The only time you may take pictures is to keep continuity of your makeups, and when that's the case, you're generally not allowed to post anything until the film or TV episode has been aired. So you want to be very careful of that. And sometimes only the key is allowed to take pictures of continuity. So you'll either be asked to take pictures. I usually take them anyways. I don't post things, so just don't take random pictures of the set. Stunt double. Used for any take that may injure the actor, like a photo double except with the level of danger in the action. This person will be used if a situation would be deemed dangerous. If an actor was to hurt themselves, it would be very costly to shut down the production because of injury. The stunts person is dressed to look like an actor who they are portraying wigged and padded, etc. So again, potentially with this, you might need to do a little bit of makeup, but it really shouldn't be too, take too long or be too important, because it should be fast. You shouldn't be able to see the person's face very much. Stunt coordinator plans the stunts and hire the stunt personnel required for a shoot, making sure it is safe for cast and crew. Transportation coordinator organizes all the vehicles and drivers involved in a production. Wrangler or animal handler rents and handles any animals required for a shoot. Writer creates the story, the setting, and the dialogue. Okay, so moving on to common terms and phrases on a film and television set. Cut. A visual transition created in editing in which one shot is instantaneously replaced on screen by another. Also, I'm not sure if they'll say it later, so I'll say it right now. So that's for a cut for editing purposes, post-production, but on set you'll also hear cut, and that's when they want to stop filming that scene, or that take, I should say. Continuity editing. Editing that creates action that flows smoothly across shots and scenes without jarring visual inconsistencies, establishes a sense of story for the viewer. Cross-cutting, cutting back and forth quickly between two or more lines of action, indicating they're happening simultaneously. Dissolve, a gradual scene transition. The editor overlaps the end of one shot with the beginning of another. Editing, the work of selecting and joining together shots to create a finished film. Errors of continuity, disruptions in the flow of a scene, such as a failure to match action or the placement of props across shots. So again, it's your responsibility to maintain continuity of the makeup and facial hair and nails on set as a makeup artist. As a special effects makeup artist, then you'll be maintaining the special effects continuity throughout different days of filming, just making sure that the makeup colors and pattern placements, anything like that, is the same throughout different filming days. Establishing shot, a shot normally taken from a great distance or from a bird's eye view that establishes where the action is about to occur. We went over that one in the beginning. Eye line match, the matching of eye lines between two or more characters. For example, if Sam looks to the right in shot A, Jean will look to the left in shot B. This establishes a relationship of proximity and continuity. Because it might not say it later, I'll just talk about general eye lines for actors. So right now, let's say I'm looking towards the camera this way, a little bit off to the camera. I'll focus on something over here so that I know I'm matching my eye line to the actor that I'm talking to. You don't want to be caught in your actor's eye line. So if you have to, for some reason, be in their eye line, do not make direct contact. Try not to move. In general, don't be distracting, or just try to avoid the eye line if possible. Fade, a visual transition between shots or scenes that appears on screen as a brief interval with no picture. The editor fades one shot to black and then fades in the next, often used to indicate the change in time and place. Final cut, the finished edit of a film approved by the director and the producers. This is what the audience sees. Jump cut, a cut that creates a lack of continuity by leaving out parts of the action. Matched cut, a cut joining two shots whose compositional elements match, helping to establish strong continuity of action. Montage, scenes whose emotional impact and visual design are achieved through the editing together of many brief shots. Rough cut, the editor's first pass at assembling the shots into a film before tightening and polishing occurs. Sequence shot, a long take that extends for an entire scene or sequence. It is composed of only one shot with no editing. This one I think is it's amazing and it's really cool, but it can be a little bit tricky for a makeup artist or special effects makeup artist because at the beginning of the sequence shot, maybe your actor is further away, so it's more of a long shot. But as the actor comes closer to the camera, let's say it might turn into a medium or a close-up potentially. So you want to definitely always watch either the blocking or the first take and just see, just kind of see if you need to do touch-ups for the next one in case they're going to go in for close-ups during the sequence shot. Action, the word the director uses when he wants the actors to begin performing. Actors call, you're called to set. You will be called at least an hour before the assistant director thinks you will be needed. Be sure to show up at least a half an hour before that. This will help you become accustomed to the set, props, and the atmosphere. Never be late. The cost of a crew waiting to you is enormous. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about your call as a makeup artist. When you look on the call sheet, it will say a time for your call. If it's your first time going to that particular set or that particular circus, I would be there at least half an hour before your call just to make sure that you find it properly. Sometimes even earlier if you want to be a little bit more comfortable. I don't like rushing in the morning when I'm, getting into the trailer and setting up, whatnot. So early is good. You never want to be late, and always be sure of where you're going. So you might not necessarily be in the hair trailer or the makeup trailer, sorry. You might be in a tent doing background performers potentially. So get there early. Oftentimes there might even be, if you're working on like a union film, there'll for sure be breakfast you can have in the morning if you get there early as well. Cheating, when an actor takes on a physical position that would not be natural in real life, such as looking at something other than the person or object on which she is supposedly focused. This is often necessary to get the right effect or perspective on a film. Close-up, positioning of the camera close to an actor's, I'll just read it again. Positioning the camera close to an actor's face or using a lens to take a close shot or an object that has significance in the scene so that the person or object fills the frame. So again, the close-up is for sure when you want to make sure that your touch-ups are done and your actor is looking good. But you need to be careful as well with the close-up. So if you do have two actors standing there and they're doing more of an over-the-shoulder close-up, make sure that you're doing a touch-up on the right actor that the camera is facing. Cut. The director's instruction to stop a scene. The director is the only person on the set allowed to cut or stop a scene. If the assistant director, sound mixer, or camera operator needs to stop the scene for any reason, they call out break it. You never ever call out cut. Hit your mark. The ability to find your predetermined location on the scene without looking at the marks that have been placed on the floor. So that's for the actors. Long shot, a camera angle used to stress the environment or setting. The camera is at a distance from the subject of the shot. Medium shot, a camera positioned that results in full to half figure shots of performers. So with a medium shot, if it's a half shot but you're doing a film that's going to theater, still I would go in for touch-ups for that if you know that it's going to get a release. Pick up. The director uses this term to indicate that he or she wants to redo a small part of the scene. For example, if a scene is going well until someone forgets a line, the director might want to pick up the scene near that point to avoid reshooting the entire scene. Print it. What the director says when the take is complete and is good enough to use. A film print is made of the take. Well, that's kind of not really common anymore. Setup. The camera position or the composition of a shot. Each time one of these is changed, there is a new setup. So you're always keeping an eye out for that so that you know what they're actually filming. Speed, a term used to let the production crew know that the camera is rolling and the sound is up to speed with the camera. Take, a scene that is being or has been filmed. It is not a rehearsal and there will be a film record of it. That's a wrap, a phrase that means we're done, shooting is over for today. So that's when the whole shooting is over for the day, but just being wrapped is a little bit different. So you might get wrapped out earlier than the rest of the production. Maybe you're doing like an 8-hour day, or you're only in for a specific makeup, or maybe your actor's getting wrapped out early because they're not in for the entire day. You never want to assume if you're wrapped. You always need to make sure with the AD that both you or your actor is wrapped before removing any makeup. Don't just take the actor's word for it. Make sure that you're clarifying with the production that they're done with the actor. Okay, so I'm going to move on now. We're almost done here, just a couple more pages. Set etiquette. Your call time is the time that you start work. I'm going to start that one again. Set etiquette. Your call time is the time that you start work. Traveling to set, breakfast, and coffee is not included in the call time, and you must do them before the call time. Now, sometimes when you're working on a big production, you might be called in, so you might have a pre-call, which is you getting called in prior to crew call. So you might be working before breakfast is served, and in that case, then usually the AD will come to the trailer and ask and maybe take some orders for breakfast, or sometimes we'll take a break and go and get breakfast, depending on the situation. You should arrive at least 15 minutes early. I think earlier personally, but you should arrive at least 15 minutes early. If you are late, it doesn't matter for what reason, it is unacceptable. Plan to leave early if you know that the weather might be bad or you must take a bridge or tunnel, or if for some reason you will be late, let someone know. Never interrupt any conversation with the director, producer, production manager, or the lead performers unless it is a safety issue and they are at some risk. Never interrupt any of these people while they were in conversation. I think in a general rule, it's rude to interrupt people when they're in a conversation anyways, unless you absolutely have to, but definitely not director, producer, production manager, or lead performers. There's a bit of a hierarchy for sure. Never talk after rolling has been called or ever during a take while the sound is rolling. Also, stifle any coughs or laughing, cover your face, and silently move away from the area. Never enter a trailer without knocking. Just in case it doesn't say it, I'm going to also say when you're entering a trailer, you also want to say stepping up or stepping down, because as you step up, it will rock the trailer a little bit, and if somebody's, has scissors close by or doing fine detail work, you don't want to jar them. When lunchtime is called, it is usually half an hour. If you are a principal actor, you go in the line first. Now, this depends. Sometimes it's actually an hour, but for makeup and actors, it's often half an hour, because we'll be doing some touch-ups while the rest of the crew is finishing off their lunch, so that we're not holding up the production. So this is often a thing. Do not walk in front of the camera lens while they are setting up a shot. Either walk around or duck under the front of the camera to avoid crossing the lens. Do not touch or remove a piece of equipment or props on set. Do not stand in front of a light or a bounce board. First, you will cast a shadow. Second, it shows how inexperienced you are. If your shoulders are warm in your location, you are probably standing in front of a light or bounce board. Stand beside it, you will be out of shot and in a safe place. Never stand in a performer's eye line. Do not invite friends or relatives to visit the set. Do not get in the way of the crew while they are setting up a shot. Do not enter a studio when the red outer light is revolving. This means they're filming. Wait until it is out before entering. One long bell means lock it up. Then the light comes on. Two short bells means cut. Then the light goes out. This is really important for you guys to remember if you're shooting in a studio. So don't forget that. No clothing or hats with rude, lewd, or suggestive designs. Let your supervisor know if you are leaving the set for personal reasons. Tell someone where you'll be, then return promptly. Take off all watches that beep at the hour and turn all pagers? Turn all cellular phones to mute or vibrate. Do remember, there is no smoking on set, in the hair, makeup, or costume trailers, or in the dressing rooms. Smoking is allowed only in designated smoking areas. When you hear someone yell, lock it up, rolling, action, quiet on set, you must be quiet. Now, sometimes when you're on set in a bigger production, you might have a walkie, you might not. It depends if you're like the key makeup artist or maybe the first assist. You potentially have a walkie and you'll be able to hear even if you're not on set when they're rolling, and you'll be able to communicate through the walkie to different departments. Now, if you don't have one, which you probably won't, the universal signal, so if I'm about to walk somewhere where they might be filming and I've come from circus or not really sure what's going on, the universal signal for rolling is this. So if you see somebody doing this, it means they're rolling and you should just stop walking and stop what you're doing, or try to be very quiet. Park your car in the designated area, usually that has a sign, crew park. The most important rule is to act professional. Keep a happy attitude at all times. That is the most important rule, as well as obviously being on time. You want to keep getting jobs. First of all, you don't want to get fired, obviously, but you want to create a good reputation for yourself. So if you're professional and you're pleasant to be around, and you just have a generally good, hard-working, personality, you're going to get a lot further, and a key makeup artist might bring you on to the next film or the next show, and in general, I think you'll just have a better time as well. So don't complain. Nobody likes a grouch. So this goes with what I was just saying. As makeup artist on set, And sometimes even in the lab, it's very, very long days. So, 14, sometimes 16 hours, because you're getting there usually in a pre-call, especially if you're special effects makeup. And then you're there, all day sometimes, and then even later for removal and cleanup. So that, you're very tired, but you don't want to complain about that. The actors and everybody on the production is also very tired. So, or just cold or whatever, grumpy for whatever reason. So just try to keep that to yourself. Call sheets. This is the document which officially releases work calls and requisitions equipment. It is the planned work for each day of actual shooting. It informs everyone on the production of where, when, and how the day's work is planned to be done. The word planned merits emphasis because the call sheet, like all the production paperwork, is always subject to change. Unlike other forms, the call sheet is the culmination of all the pre-production schedule and deal making. The implement by which production itself is initiated. The call sheet is the direct line of communications from the set to the departments. Placing a request for a camera operator to receive coffee and donuts by writing it on the call sheet means that they will arrive at the appointed time and place without any further action. You, as a makeup artist, may not do that, okay? Because the call sheet has such impact, it must allow for all significant needs of a given day's work to be clearly inscribed. If a call sheet is unclear, turmoil and confusion will ensue. There are many assorted styles of call sheets, but each should allow for the following data to be entered. Picture title, production number, date, the day of shooting, the call time, so shooting, crew, or leaving, and location, producer, director, and other pertinent and other pertinent staff, sorry. So you'll be able to find everything that you need on the call sheet. Sometimes you'll even get a preliminary call sheet, and especially if you're the key makeup artist, you'll definitely get this just to go over and make sure that the scheduling is correct for your actors and the timing that you would need to be on set, as well as your crew. Script information. Oh, one more thing about the call sheet, because I don't think it's said. It is handed out the day before filming. So if we were filming today, the call sheet will be handed out tonight for the next day's filming. So you're not to expect it days in advance. Sometimes you might know the shooting schedule, which will give you an idea of filming, but don't expect the call sheet days in advance. Script information, set numbers, if any, set description, scene numbers, cast numbers, page count. Cast info, so this is still stuff about the call sheet. Cast information, cast numbers, actors' names, character names, pertinent call times, so makeup, wardrobe, set, or shooting. Atmosphere and stand-in information. Amount and kinds of persons required, their call times and work locations. Crew information. Amount and kind of personnel required, amount of some kinds of equipment required. So when you look at a call sheet, you're not necessarily going to know which makeups you're doing, which actors you're doing. Often you'll find that out when you go to set, unless you're a regular on the show. But you can have a good idea. So if I look at the call sheet and I see there is, atmosphere times 20, and there's only a few makeup artists, and I know I'm going to be doing a lot of background makeup, depending on your position. So if you're like a second assistant artist. So it's good to, I think, go back over this or listen to it again in the future and just kind of try to memorize this stuff as best as you can for your future. It's really going to help your career, and you're going to start looking quite professional on set. Even if you don't think it pertains to you, it's still good to have basic knowledge of what other people are doing in the industry, and then you can at least hold some form of a conversation or know what's happening. Let's see here. Okay, so that's basically it for the theory that I'm going to go over today. There is a project that you will be doing in this module, so you should have received your Master of Makeup's project sheet. Please look over that and pick a makeup artist, so that's a renowned makeup artist. I think that inspires you personally would be great, and send me the name. So email me the name of that makeup artist so I can write it down, and then you guys can start on your projects. If you have any questions, of course, just email me. If not, you can be dropping, if you would like, just drop all of your reference photos as well as your pictures that you're taking of practice and any assignments into your folder on the Google Docs. So I'm just going to take a look and see if anybody has any questions at this point in time. Okay, so I think nothing. I'm not seeing any questions that you guys have there. I guess it was pretty straightforward. I'll just give that a minute in case you guys think of anything. So when you're doing your paperwork, for each week and each exam that you're going to be doing, it will state what is required of you for that week, because some weeks might change. One thing that I did want to talk to you guys about, because I'm not sure if you talked about this yet with Jess, is, actually don't know, you might have already done all this as well, not too sure, but your 7 character factors, so age, environment, personality, disfigurements, general health, genetics, style. With these things, when you do your paperwork, I'd like you to list each factor. So let's say it's general health. You write down general health, and then you just write beside it like healthy or some form of maybe illness that they have. For, let's say, disfigurements, I still would want you to write disfigurements, and then beside it, just write none. Okay, so list them all the factors, and then you can list beside it whatever those are. Okay. Some people might have wanted you to do this a different way, but that's how I want it done. When you are sending pictures, emailing them, or putting them preferably in your Google folder, it would be ideal if you can put all of your practice pictures in one folder and your exam pictures in a separate folder, because I do have to, and I will be going over all of your practice looks and giving you notes and feedback on that, as well as marking your exams. So it'd be very helpful if those are in 2 separate folders for me. I think that, when is the master makeup project due? I think it's stated that it's due in the, you know what, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I'll let you know during the Zoom, or else I'll email it out. So we have a Zoom meeting on Monday and we can talk more about that, but it is the 3rd week of the program. So I'll give you an exact date if Anna hasn't sent it out yet later. Okay, again, with the expectations for the exams, you need to make sure that I'm getting a clear, or actually many clear pictures. Okay, so for certain things, I do need to be able to see detail in the makeups, and I need those to be nice, crisp, clear pictures for marking, not, soft focus. So please don't apply any filters, anything like that on your makeups. I just want raw images for marking. Okay, let me just see if there's anything else. Okay, I think that's probably it for now. If nobody has, your phone is not that good for pictures. Okay, well, do the best that you can and try to hold it really still. And I find that if your phone is not that great for pictures, try just taking maybe some really good natural light pictures. I find helps with the quality of the photo, and just keeping a steady hand. Who's that? Okay, so I mean, you do what you can for me, please, to get the best pictures you can. There's only so much I can ask of you for, the quality of phones that you have. Okay. I am hoping that you guys will, and I would like you to do a little bit of wardrobe and props and stuff as well. So for your final looks, although these pictures will be on your phone, it's still, you can use them for marketing yourself, right? So for your Instagram or your Facebook or your website, your portfolio, whatever it may be. So you have gone through the photography section, so think about composition even when you're taking pictures on your phone, and your lighting source, and try to take some pride as much as you can, of course, for the quality of your phone. Okay, well, I think I've basically gone over what I have to go over for the theory element of it. I'm going to send you guys on a break. I'm going to set up my station and prepare for doing the 3 demos that I'm going to do today. We got to, do some camera changes and stuff. So I'm going to send you on a half-an-hour break. You guys can come back, please, at 10:30. We're going to maybe show a couple of our student films in case you want something to watch while you're waiting. Makeup movies, sorry, not just student films. Makeup movies from my previous classes, so you get to see some cool stuff. Okay.
I didn't know he had a dog.
I've never seen him walk a dog.
He used to work with my dad until he got fired. He showed up drunk to work one day. When his boss told him to go home, he punched him in the face. He got fired on the spot.
What a freak.
Let's go see what he's doing in there.
And get ass raped? No thank you. Plus, I gotta get home. I told my mom I'd be back in an hour.
Don't be a pussy. We'll go have a look, and then we'll leave.
I can't believe they let you talk me into this shit.
He's got some sort of dog or something chained up in there.
Let me see.
Who's out there? Now you've done it! Come on, motherfuckers! Come get me! Come on!
What do you see?
Not a damn thing.
Maybe he's sleeping?
We need to break in there and see what he's got chained up.
What? Are you crazy? No way! No way! Fuck that shit! I'm not gonna do it! You can't make me fucking do this! No way! Fuck that noise! What's taking you so long?
I'm not exactly an expert at breaking into people's houses.
Houston, we have no problem.
You're a kitty, 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 kitty. Let's get the fuck out of here, man. What the fuck?
Nobody's gonna hurt you. We're gonna help you.
Don't move, maggots.
Stay cool, man. Nobody's gonna move.
Who sent you? FBI? CIA? You can go tell those scum that she's mine. I found her.
Okay, I'll go and give them your message.
Not so fast. I know you guys. You're those two fairies that are always throwing that ball around. Why are you here? Are you here to rob me?
Who's the girl? Why do you have her chained up?
You don't know nothing. She ain't a girl. She's a monster.
What's your name, sweetheart?
Don't you talk to her.
Diana.
Well, we're gonna get you out of here, Diana.
Like hell you are.
Don't move! I'll blow your fucking brains out! And keep your hands where I can see them!
What's so fucking funny, you pile of human garbage?
You guys think you're being heroes, don't you?
We're gonna take her out of here, and if you try to stop us, Zach over here is gonna put a bullet in your head. Ain't you, Zach?
Nothing would please me more.
Don't do it, kid. You have no fucking idea what you're doing.
You don't get to tell us what to do.
Listen to me. You're making a huge mistake.
It's okay. You're safe now. It's over.
Don't move, you ugly motherfucker! Shoot it! Fucking shoot it!
boys who killed him?
What, these boys? No, it was some monster.
Hey, are you my dad? Huh? No. Ah, no.
Oh, yeah. I already own a fence, but I'll take this one too. Leaves! 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 Leaves!
I'm just gonna relax and relax.
Órale, mamacita! Come here. I'll show you what is good.
Hey, buddy, come over here. Cut me on the head. No? All right, maybe next time we come back. Hey, lady, I haven't had any attention in like 10 minutes. Come over here.
That's cold, lady.
Oh.
Okay, Fluffy, you just sit right here, and I'll be back in a few minutes, okay? Oh, what's your name?
Oh, I'm Tiny.
Oh, you're a good boy, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, I am. I definitely am. I definitely am, for sure. So, Fluffy it is? May I?
Excuse me?
Well, you just look familiar, and I was hoping maybe it'd ring a bell. I knew it! You're that dog from the park the other day with that sweet yellow ball.
You're the son of a bitch who tried to steal my ball.
Well, I just wanted to play with it a little bit. Well,
Next time, get your own.
why are you in such a bad mood?
My human is an asshole. She says that I'm her best friend, yet she treats me like she's so much better
Okay, so I'm ready to start my first demonstration, which is going to be the masculinization makeup on Tristan here. So the first thing I'm going to do is put on a little bit of moisturizer just so that my cream makeup blends. Okay, great. So today we're going to be using the Krylon Super Color Cream Makeups. I'm going to make a base color for Tristan here, and it was going to be very slightly darker than her skin tone, because for theater makeups, the bright lights of the stage often will wash out the color a lot. So not too much darker, but just a little bit. And you can use a beauty blender or a sponge, whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm gonna see with this brush. And I'll probably use the sponge as well after. And going right onto her neck as well. So now I'm gonna go on with a contour color. So the first color I used, I mixed 1W, 2W, and 3W together. So this next one, I want to go quite dark, so I'm gonna mix the 5 and the 6W. I'm actually going to also mix a little bit of so we have these separate colors right here. I'm going to mix a little bit of the 043 in. For the theatrical makeup, we do want quite a bit of contrast, so that you can really see this makeup from a distance. So I'm just gonna start now with my contour placements. Temple. And the cheek contour. Kind of squaring everything out, so coming in and then down. I'm just getting the placement on before I go in and blend. So right on the jaw, I'm gonna contour really nice and square. Chin. I'm going to do the other side, and then I'll just be jumping back and forth a little bit. Okay, let's widen out the bridge of her nose. Okay. And I'm going to go in and make her eyes a little bit more deep set. Close your eyes, please. And a little bit of, you can open now, a little bit of contouring just above the brow to pronounce and bring out that brow bone, a little bit more on the top. Okay, let's go down the center of her neck, and we're going to give the illusion of an Adam's apple. Okay, so I have most of my contour placement on right now. I'm going to start doing a little bit of blending. So just on my palette here, working off some of that product so that my brush is not loaded. Okay, and now just slightly blending. I don't want to over blend because I don't want to lose my highlight. Sometimes I might even just clean some of the excess product off of my brush if I find that it's just over blending too much. I'm basically just kind of feathering out my edges a little bit. So the strength of your makeup really will be determined by how big the theater is and the lights that are going to be used as well. So for a smaller theater, you can go a little bit more subtle with your makeups. For a larger venue, then more contouring is better. More contrast, that is. Okay. I think I'm going to go just a little bit deeper under her eyes here. Look up for me. I don't have a mirror, so it's funny. Great. Okay, so it's strong, which is good. That's what I'm going for. Now I'm only gonna do a highlight in a couple areas for this look. So I'm just using the lightest color and adding a tiny bit of white. So that one was the 1W, and then I just added the 070, the white. But your colors will change depending on your model's natural skin tone, so you don't have to follow the exact colors that I'm using. Make sure that you're either using another brush or your brush is really clean before doing your highlight. So just working it into my palette so that I don't have too much product on my brush. A little bit. Kind of going into a bit of a V. You won't see too much on her jaw because I'm going to put stubble on there, but just going to do a little bit extra. And I'm just going to make sure that her top lip is just covered a bit so I can thin out her lips. Just mostly the upper lip. Okay, and right here in the center of her neck, I'm just going to put a little bit of highlight. Just to bring out that area. Okay, So I'm going to move on to doing some speared stipple or like stubble 5 o'clock shadow kind of thing. So I'm going to do 2 different techniques just so that you guys can see and have options depending on, you know, whatever technique you think that I'd try both, and then whatever one you like better you can use for your exam. So we're going to be using the Zombie Illustrator palette. And your color is going to vary depending on your model. For Tristan, I am going to darken up the hair color a bit more than what would be natural, just so you could see it from a distance. So for her, her beard would be quite light. I'm going to go more of a brown color. So using my 99% alcohol, I'm going to activate my palette. So just a little bit of alcohol in a cup. And then I like to take I like to take a fluffy brush and just kind of deposit some of this product into whatever colors you're going to use to activate. So I'm going to go with, for me, I'm going to go with that midnight brown. Tiny little bit of black. A little bit of rice paper. Just make sure you make enough color, because if you make a color and you run out of it, it's kind of hard to match it again. Okay. So I'm just making it here on the top of my palette. So for the first technique, you can use a cut down chip brush, or even if you're doing more like smaller areas, you can even use like a toothbrush or something smaller like this, depending on the areas that we're going to be spattering. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to use this brow brush here. And when we're spattering, we want to use quite a bit of alcohol, and make sure your model is holding their breath and closing their eyes, because this is alcohol that you're kind of spraying onto the face. We want to be very careful. Okay, so Tristan, close your eyes and hold your breath. And you can breathe. So with this look here, the more alcohol you add, the more transparent it's going to be. So if you want to actually see little dots, then less alcohol is better. Okay, again. So right now on the side of Tristan's jaw here, I'm just giving more of a shadow. And again. So I can see the actual stubble a little bit more, I'm going to use less alcohol and a bit of a darker color. So I'm actually just working it in the alcohol into the palette with this brush is fine. I'm just kind of scrubbing it around. Okay, so we're going to go again. Okay, so you can actually see the pattern a lot more this time around. And again. Great. And I'm going to go one more time. So a little overspray down onto the neck and under the jaw is okay for the 5 o'clock shadow or the little stubbles. If you get it too far down, then you'll want to wipe it off. You can also see I was just using my hand to block off Any areas up on her cheeks that I didn't want stubble, you can use a paper towel even if you want. If you wanted to create more of a particular shape, you could even use like a stencil to block off an area. Okay, a little bit more, and then I'm going to do a different technique on the other side. Hold your breath. Okay. So on the other side, I'm going to use just to show you different techniques, a black pour sponge. This is the large pour, so you should have two. One has like a tighter hole pattern, and this one is the larger one. So I'm just going to actually work it onto my sponge, like so. And just gently tapping. So you can see with this, you can be nice and precise. Just be careful because it is kind of pokey, so it's not the most comfortable thing. Try to be as gentle as you can. Okay, so like that. This one I think I'm going to go right up. She's going to have a high beard on this side, just to show you some different ideas. And maybe I'm going to make it a little bit more dense in here, and even a little bit underneath. Okay, so let's go in with a smaller piece. I'm just tearing a tiny little piece, working it in my product, and then get your model to hold their breath again, because we're going to go on the mustache area. Hold your breath. You can breathe. Okay, good. Great. So if you have, you can see here, I went a little bit onto her lip there. It's a really, really easy fix. Just take a Q-tip, with a little bit of 99. There we go. And if you have any areas that you want to fix up that are a little bit too dark, you can do the same thing. So like this one right here. Okay, good. And so the next thing that you could do, and you don't have to, but if you wanted to give a little bit of a longer facial hair, you could go in with a finer brush, so either a fine liner or even just like a really thin angle brush. And we can, so this could be one look for a beard. So I'm just going to turn it into a little bit of a different look. Okay, so I'm going to get you to hold your breath, okay? So we can go in, you can breathe, and actually draw. You can use a liner for this as well, but you can go in and draw some actual kind of mustache hairs and actual strokes. Okay, good. Ready? If you're actually going to draw it on, make sure you're paying attention to the direction of growth, right? So you can look at some reference pictures if you're unsure. There you go. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a goatee here, because this is going into my kind of second look, which is going to be my character look, and this kind of works with it, so. Okay, so let's go in, maybe since I've kind of done a little bit of a goatee here, I'm just gonna go a little longer, maybe with their sideburns, a little bit more, a little stronger. Can you turn your face that way for me? So this will all depend on your character and the type of facial hair that you want to do. Okay, good. Thank you. It's just funny. And so if you find it is just a little bit too much, you can always just use a little alcohol and then tap it out with a baby wipe. That's just a little too strong. I'm going to go in now and darken up Tristan's eyebrows. That's probably, you know what, I'm going to use the illustrator. You can use a liner if you would like, but kind of on a roll here with the illustrator. Okay, so you're going to keep your eyes closed, okay? So we want to maybe darken them a little bit, but also thicken them up. Can you turn your face a little bit this way? So basically just trying to get rid of that arch at first. Bring them a little bit closer together. Okay, you can look straight again. Thank you. And a few little strays. Okay, so for just the masculinization or male gender makeup, this would be enough. So some contouring and some facial hair of your design. I'm going to change this into a little bit more of a character makeup. So I've already started a little bit, but I'm going to change it up. And I'm going to stick with the masculinization theme. So I'm going to move on to, it's already getting there, but I'm going to move on to this. I'm going to darken everything out and do maybe a little bit more of kind of a villain look. So I'm just going to remove a little bit, close your eyes. I can answer some questions for sure. Okay, let's see. So the question was, we do the 7 character factors for each face chart. Only do the 7 character factors for the exam face chart, so that's your straight masculinization makeup character. So do 1 face chart per look. So you'll be doing 3 face charts this week. 1 for the basic makeup, 1 for a character makeup of your choice, and the 1 for your exam, the masculinization makeup. I will send you guys the 7 character factors. I did just read it out, but I'll type it out and send it to you guys. Okay, so I'll just show you Tristan's face side to side quickly again. So go this way, and then this way. Great. And the zombie palette is an alcohol activated palette. So that means that you use 99% alcohol to activate it. So when you open up your palette, it's going to be a solid. You put in some 99 and it's going to start to kind of break it down. The more you put in, the more transparent your product is going to be. So if you just use a little bit of alcohol and you really work it for a while, you're going to get a very opaque kind of dry color. Okay, I'm just going to repeat the face charts one more time. So the face charts that are required are the 3 makeups you're going to do this week. 1 is a basic makeup, which I'm going to show you later, and that's just a basic stage makeup. You do not have to copy my design, but I do want to see a basic makeup for stage, so you'll do a face chart for that one. You will plan a character makeup, which is the one I'm just moving on to, and your character makeup will have a face chart. So do the face chart first. And then for your exam, you will need the 3rd face chart, which is your masculinization face chart. Okay, so let me just show you my examples of my 3 face charts for the makeups that I'm doing today. So this one, I changed it because I started going into my character makeup, but this one, if you guys can see that, should I move it closer, Amir? So this one here would be something like this. I drew this one, but you can do it on a regular face chart. This would be the one for the exam, the masculinization one. This one is just a basic makeup for stage. So you can see it's just a really bold lip, bold contour, and a bold eye. So this would be just a regular, maybe even for dance, theater production, something like that. So those, and then that last one was a practice one, and this is another practice one for you guys. This is the character makeup that I'm going to do. So it doesn't have to be this character. You can pick any character that you would like to do for theater. So as long as it has a lot of highlighting and contouring and style, that's good. Do a face chart, and it's just all for practice, except for the masculinization, okay? So if Anna sent you guys an email on exactly what's to be handed in this week. So if you go into your email, it'll say on the top of the sheet, it's masculinization, and it will state exactly like what I'm doing, the demos, the supplies that are needed, and what is required of you. So we'll say under homework, it's gonna say you need to do your face charts and your reference pictures and whatnot. So look at that, okay? You can definitely use Photoshop to do your Photoshop if you want, or I just drew out my faces because I find it fun. So I drew out my faces yesterday and I just did the makeup on them. So whatever way it works for you to give me a face chart, that's fine, as long as it's not an actual like picture of somebody. Yes, so I do want 3 makeup looks on a model with 3 face charts. 2 of those are for practice, 1 is for the exam. The exam one is the masculinization makeup that I just did. But I do want to see all of them. So I talked about putting them in separate folders. So your practice folders and your exam folders. Did you get the email with the printouts, Catherine? Because it should have been sent. I'll call her after and see, make sure that you get it sent out again. So it's on the bottom, like the homework section of it's on the bottom. Any other questions about this makeup? Okay, I'm gonna move on to the character makeup because I gotta get a move on here quickly. So I'm just gonna change this makeup, but for practice, if you want to do a completely different character, that's up to you. This is kind of an open, fun thing for you guys to do. How do you go about thinning out somebody's lips? So I would definitely use concealer and conceal the top of it, maybe even a little bit of a darker tone so that you're not highlighting it, and then go on and redraw out, like maybe with a lip color, like a nude natural lip color, redraw out a new lip line below, just like kind of like when you guys were doing the 20, how you were changing actually the different decades, how you were changing the lip shapes. That's how you could thin it out. Okay. So I'm actually going to, for this look, I'm going to add to it. I'm actually going to do just a really quick brow block. Partial brow block. You guys don't have to do this, it's just part of this makeup. So I'm just using the glue stick for this one, but if you wanted to, you can use a different technique. I know you guys know like 3 techniques by now on brow blocking, so if you wanted to try it out from one of these looks, go ahead, feel free. I'm just going to do the end. Have you ever had your brows blocked?
Yeah.
Like, okay. So let's just make sure that goes nice and clear before we conceal. Just going to actually use a concealer to block out her brow color, but there's different techniques you can do for that as well. So if you wanted to, you can even use like an Illustrator first, just to kind of block out the color, to cancel the color. But I'm just gonna go, I think it'll be fine for her brows to go right on with concealer. I'm gonna use the MAC so just really heavy on the concealer for this. Something nice and creamy is good. So I can see I started off with a purple glue stick, and it's gone pretty clear on this side, so I can start. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of this, the skin tone that I had left over on top. That was that cream Kryolan foundation. And just kind of feathering. For this makeup, I am doing technically the rest of her face is already on, but before I design the eyes, I'm going to do the brows, just 'cause it's going to kind of frame the face and frame my look. So I'm giving her a new brow shape to make her look maybe a little bit more sinister. And through the one eyebrow, I am going to do a scar. So I'm going to leave a gap in the brow. Close your eyes. You can turn your face a little bit this way. Thank you. So this is, thanks Tristan. This is the, again, it's the Illustrator palette, but you can use a liner as well if you'd like to, like a brown or black pencil. And it dries out very fast, so I keep dipping into my palette to reactivate the alcohol. I'm just gonna continue on darkening up her goatee a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna get you to hold your breath, okay? Okay. And hold your breath again. Okay. And hold your breath again. Great, thank you. Okay, so I'm just gonna go in and add a little bit more contouring in certain areas around the eye, mainly. This is gonna kind of make her look almost a little older and a little bit more, I guess, angry kind of looking. So I'm just using that. I still have my color here from my first makeup, so I'm just using my contour color that I made. I'm going to start on the inside corner of the brow. And just give her a little bit more of a furrow. Okay, and even a little bit darker in the eye area. Close your eyes. Thank you. And a little bit, maybe a little bit, just generally deeper in some of the areas. Okay, good. So I'm gonna take my Krylon wheel and I'm gonna mix the blue and the red together. Cleaning off this brush here, I want to apply this new color in around the eye area. So let's start with the inside corners. Close your eyes. And then I'll do a little bit even on the outside corners. This is kind of a purpley tone here. I'm actually going to put even a little bit of purple, that purple tone right in this kind of cheek hollow. And blending just kind of a little blending. Can you open your eyes? Thank you. Can you look up? Great, thank you. And then I want to take which one? This one. The 101, so that's the really dark brown color in the Krylon Super color here. And I just need the tiniest little bit. You can also use a really dark pencil for this. I just want to deepen that kind of brow furrow slightly. Maybe go back a little bit with the contour color. Okay. So I'm going to put in that scar that I was talking about before. And I'll use that, the same color I used under her eyes. I'm going to mix it, maybe add a little bit of red. It's just a little dark. And I'll mix it in with my skin tone. So just added a little bit of red. Kind of creating this pink, a muted pink, mauvey kind of color. A little bit darker. We do want to be able to see it from a distance. And I'm going to add just a little bit of white and try to highlight it a little bit on one side. apologize. And open. Just a little bit of a red tone. Actually, it's the same scar color, just to kind of fully rim the rest of her lash line. And yeah, so this is just a simple character makeup that you can do. You can even use elements of this for your masculinization makeup if you want to create a cool character. Okay, so we're gonna answer questions now. Let's see. Tristan, you can, here. I'm gonna answer questions, then we're gonna take a little bit of a break so I can kind of reset. You can go for a little bit, have a little bite to eat. Okay, first let's answer questions, let's see. How do we do brow blocking? So with me, I just use the glue stick right here. This one's purple. This is Elmer's glue stick, and it's purple. I like it when it's purple because then you can see when it's dry, but you don't have to use that. I just grabbed like a chunk of it and kind of spatulated it on to flatten out the hairs and fill in the ridges, and then let it dry before going on with your color. So yes, it is okay to do your practical on yourselves if you have nobody else to do it on, especially with this one, because I would prefer you to do it on somebody more feminine so that we can see kind of the before and after effects of that. Yeah, so you can do all of the looks on yourself if you want for this week. So I guess you'd like to see me mixing the colors together next time. I can try to hold it up in front of the camera a little bit more, but this is my palette here right now, so you can see the various colors that I used. Is this good, Amir? So I have, I kind of went over some areas, but right here was more of my skin tone. Then we have my contour color. This was kind of the under eye color here. It was a little bit more purpley at the time. And this is the color that I used for doing the brow block. I want you to actually do beard stubble on the jaw, as well as a mustache for your masculinization makeups. I do want to see that 5 o'clock shadow, and then you can darken areas to change kind of the style if you would like. But I do want to see it like on the actual jaw line, just so you guys know. And apply the same contour that I applied, no matter kind of where you're doing your facial hair in the pattern. I still want it to like broaden out the cheeks so it's a little bit bigger than the female contouring. So you're just blending a little bit more. It's a little bit maybe more on an angle, and then it kind of comes down here to square out a little bit. There is a reference that you guys got sent in your notes for the drag and masculinization makeups that does show, it's like a face chart with just the contouring on it, if you want to see that. Which color did you use to mix with blue? I used the red and the blue together to make that purple color around the eye for my second makeup, my character makeup. So I just used more red than blue, because the blue is very strong. Maybe 1/3 blue, if that. Okay, I'm glad that you got your homework and schedule. So to deepen the eyes, I use these two colors combined. It's not on my palette anymore because I lightened it up. You can get them, the pictures, I can take pictures of this, she went to go eat for a quick sec, but of this makeup, I didn't take pictures of the first one. Yeah, homework by Wednesday, but I am going to have a little bit of grace period. So if there's something going on, like you're working a lot right now and you just need an extra day or two, email me, and then we can talk about it. Okay, so let's take, maybe let's take a 20-minute break right now, and I'll tidy up my station a bit. I have to clean off her makeup, and then we get back to doing one more look that I want to do, which I'm just going to do on half the face. Yeah, if you get any of your work that you get done early, send it in. Just don't do it before the demos, because you need to see how I want things done. So the second I'm done and you've watched the demos and you know exactly what you're doing for the week, you can start working right away if that's what you want to do, and put them in. That gives me more time for marking and getting back to you guys, because I have 3 classes I'm doing right now. So yeah, whenever you get them in is good. Yeah, you can, if it's done, you can hand in the Masters of Makeup project early for sure. Just make sure that you okay. I want you to tell me who, which makeup artist you're working on. No problem. Okay, so let's say 12:15, we're gonna come back, so it's 12:15, and I'm just gonna do just one side of her face, I think, because you guys have done a lot of makeups like this. So just one side of her face, just as a refresh on this makeup here, which is the basic makeup for stage. So we'll see you guys back here then.
I can't believe you're an actual writer. I mean, I've dated writers before, but they all had day jobs. Gas stations, grocery clerks, waiters. Lots of waiters. But an actual writer? It must have been so hard to break in.
Everyone has a process and a journey. Maybe in a year or two, someone will publish their masterpiece and surpass me by miles.
Unlikely. Quit being so modest. Tell me about your latest work. There seems to be a lot of buzz around it.
I don't know. I haven't even told my agent about it yet.
Oh, come on.
It's a vampire story. I don't want to scare you.
Scare me? Are you kidding me? I'd live for that shit. I'll even tell you a secret. I am a vampire myself.
Is that right?
Honest to God.
Alvin. Story of a 300-year-old vampire. It's based on an old tale. The historians are divided on if it's a true story or not. He hated being a vampire and what he had to do to survive.
This is so scary. Do we have to watch this? Is it over?
I'm sorry, kid.
What?
He kills her? But why? I thought vampires were able to just turn others into a vampire.
He feels that being a vampire is a curse. He doesn't want to burden anyone else with what he feels like is a prison sentence.
Okay. I buy that. Then what happens?
The same thing that makes all of the great men fall.
Oh, yeah? And what's that?
Love.
Hi. My name is Alvin.
Lexi.
Would you like to go inside to my room?
More than anything.
Oh, great. You're making fun of me?
I'm sorry. I really am. It's just that it's so cheesy. I didn't know you were a softcore romance writer.
Okay, fine. I don't have to tell you the rest.
No. Please tell me the rest.
No, you ruined it.
Please?
In a way, she ruined him. He felt so much love for her. He saw the world in a different way. How could he exist in the same place as someone so beautiful?
I made something for you.
You did?
Yeah. Read right here. You hate it, don't you?
Hate it? How can I hate it? Is this how you see me?
What do you mean?
This is unbelievably beautiful.
Oh, you're an unbelievably beautiful man.
Oh, that's so cute. Do they live happily ever after?
You wish.
Bastard, what did you do?
Years and years ago, Alvin was a part of this vampire pack. They killed and destroyed for pure pleasure. Alvin disagreed with their ways, and one night ran away. Desmond, their leader, made it his life's mission to find Alvin
I make him pay for his disloyalty.
They find him, don't they?
Alvin! Are you not gonna invite us in?
No.
Who is it, hon?
No one, darling. Stay upstairs.
No one? How rude.
Alvin, what's going on?
Nothing. I told you to stay back.
Immortal? You left our pack to be with Immortal?
Okay, wait. Did Lexi know that Alvin was a vampire?
No. He kept it from her. He was feeding on drug dealers and pimps only when it was absolutely necessary.
Damn.
You two better leave her. I'm calling the police.
It's all right. We're old friends of Alvin, aren't we?
Leave her alone. She has nothing to do with anything.
What do you take me for? You think I'm here to hurt your lover? That's not my style. And frankly, I am hurt that you would think that. That's why I brought Eleanor.
No!
You should really just read the book if you're interested.
Are you kidding me? Finish the story or I'll kick your ass.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna kill you. Stronger and more powerful vampires have tried. Have failed. You arrogant fuck. I've been waiting your visit for many years now. What took you so long?
And that's what happened to Alvin.
What happened to Lexi?
They both died.
You see, you got everything right, but that.
What?
If you're gonna be telling our story, best get it right.
Don't kill him. We can use him. Don't tell me you miss Alvin, Lexi. He was a traitor. And eventually, he would have betrayed you too. It was in his nature. Don't let memory lane stray you from our path.
You will never tell Alvin's story. I won't allow it.
Okay, so now I'm going to do just this side of Tristan's face. I'm going to do, again, just this basic stage makeup, okay, here. So I'm gonna, because I already cleaned her face and reset up my station, I'm gonna go back on with a little bit of moisturizer just so that my product blends really nicely. So this time around, I'm going to do something a little bit different for you guys. I'm going to change my color. So right now, your palette is quite warm and kind of on the more orange side. So I'm going to show you how to cancel out that kind of orangey tone a little bit more. Just in case you need to change these colors for your model. So I'm going to maybe start off with a little bit of 1 and a little bit of 2. And then I'm going to actually take a very small amount of the blue from our Krylon wheel, and I'm just putting it on my palette, and then I'll show you mixing it. And then a little bit, maybe of this yellow, just have it out. Okay. So this is what my palette looks like right now. I'm just gonna mix my 2 skin tone colors together. And just taking the tiniest little bit, always just start with a really small amount and build in. And because blue is the opposite of orange on the color wheel, that's that complementary color scheme, that's why we're using it to cancel out that kind of orangey tone. So you can kind of think of things that way, how to neutralize a color a little bit. Maybe a tiny bit of yellow. And then you can do this in varying amounts depending on your model. Okay. So just really working it into my brush, but again, you can use a sponge, a beauty blender, whatever you feel is going to work better for you. So we're going to go still quite heavy with the coverage. And you don't have to use the cream makeup for film. If you have a liquid makeup that has, for theater, if you have a liquid makeup that has pretty good coverage, like a full coverage, you could use that. For these assignments, I do want you to use the cream just so you can get really comfortable with it. But in the future, just know that it's not 100%, it's not really necessary. I'm just going to do a little bit of concealer. This palette's a little, maybe, well, let's see. If it's a little bit too dark, I'm not sure exactly which palette you guys had. If it's a little bit too dark, you can even add some of that white super color that you have into it. Okay, look up. You can look straight. And close your eyes. You can open. Okay. So at this point in time, I'm gonna actually powder, because for this demo, I'll use powder for contouring, just for something a little bit different for you guys today. So I'm just gonna use a translucent powder, but if you have colored powders, you could use those as well if you have the right color for your model. Close your eyes. You can open. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take the NYX contour palette here, and I kind of want to go a little bit warm again because it is the theatrical makeup. We're just going to kind of warm it up a little bit. I'm going to go quite strong as well. We just want to make sure that her face and the features don't look flat from that great distance that we would see it. Okay. Let's see. A little contouring on her nose as well. Okay. I'm just gonna go on with some blush, and my blush placement will be more on the sides, kind of into the contour area instead of on the apples of the cheeks. If I was doing a character that was supposed to be very, very young, I might rosy up the cheeks a bit, or even like an old age makeup, but for this makeup, definitely more of the contour area. And quite bold. So now I'm just gonna go on and make a really, really dark, kind of smoky V on her eye. So there's different techniques for this, but for me, I'm gonna start off with some liner. So this one here is just a NYX eyeliner, but anything that's kind of blendable is better. I'm just gonna cut off a little piece here. And okay, close your eyes. Great, thank you. Open. Okay, close. Let's just kind of maybe strengthen it up a little bit more. Removing a little bit of that product off my brush so I can blend it out. Going back to my contour, or sorry, my concealer. So I have my concealer brush, but I'm making sure I don't really have too much product on it. I'm just going to use that on the top for a little blending. You can open your eyes. Thank you. Okay, so I have a base on right now. I'm just going to go on with a little bit of eyeshadow. Close your eyes. So you can pick whatever colors work for your character. Close your eyes. And open your eyes. Just going to go underneath. Okay, look straight. Thank you. look straight or whatever. Actually, close your eyes. Hmm. Okay. So I'm just gonna apply mascara, but for you guys, when you're doing a stage makeup, like a feminine stage makeup, I would suggest using lashes just to make the eyes pop out a lot. And then like here, maybe. Thank you. Ooh. Blink. Thanks. That's good. Okay. Just give me a sec. Just grabbed a different mascara. Look up. And down again. Great, thank you. Oh, look up. Okay. Okay, so just gonna go in and define her brows. Look up just a bit. Thank you. Okay, the last thing is lipstick that I'm going to be applying. So just prep them, a little bit of lip balm. And you could definitely, I'm doing a bold lip, so you could line the lips, but I'm just gonna quickly do just the lipstick. I suggest if using like a long-lasting lipstick, so you don't have to do so much touch-ups for stage or film, so something that like wears a little bit longer. Okay, so there you have it, just a straight, basic makeup for stage. So just a nice heavy contour, bold eye, bold lip, and again, I would suggest putting lashes on as well for this look. Okay, thanks Tristan. Thank you so much for modeling. I'm just gonna answer questions. So if you want, oh, let me grab, actually stay there, let me grab a picture. Okay, let me just grab a quick picture here. Thank you. Thanks so much. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, let's see if you guys have any questions. Okay, so where did we leave off? Can you hold the palette up a little? Oops. So here's the palette.
Not that one, the original.
This one?
The one with all the when you first showed it?
The super color?
No, it was the one you used.
Yeah, that was this.
Yeah, but whatever you put on there, it was the bunch of circular ones.
Okay, so anyways, I'll show you the different things, just so that we're clear. So this was the colors that I used. Okay, so no questions. So everybody's super clear then on what's to be expected of you guys. And you have the handouts, I think, from Anna already. If not, then email her. We will be Zooming as a class on Monday, so please check the Zoom time and the Zoom link and set up a Zoom account if you haven't already done that. Some of your class has been participating in my Zooms previously, so that's good. I know that you guys have your account, but if not, I look forward to seeing you there, and I can answer any questions that you might think of, and we'll just have a small discussion, maybe a little bit of review, okay? Okay, so next time I'll hold the palettes up a little bit more, maybe closer to her face. Maybe it was a little bit low. Sorry, it's hard. It's really hard for me because I can't see. No problem. Okay. Anything else? So if you're watching this and it's not live and you're watching it later on, please email me to let me know that you've watched it so that I can give you attendance, because right now the only people getting the attendance are the people that have watched the video for this part. So please email me if you're watching this at a later time and let me know. Okay, well hopefully we'll see you all Monday at our Zoom meeting, and then we can talk a little bit more. If you have any more questions, email me or just write them down and we can go over it during our Zoom meeting. Okay, guess that's all for now. Thanks, bye.